Well, good Sunday morning, everybody. Here in February, late February, we are at Lehigh Gap on the Appalachian Trail. Today we're going to be hiking up the gap on the west side, and this is a very interesting place that I'll tell you more about later. But right now we're going to be headed towards the top of the gap. It's 7:43 in the morning. It's about 20 degrees. It is going to warm up as the day goes on, but should be a fun hike today. So let's go check it out. Let's go for an adventure. Okay, so I'm just taking a break here as we begin our climb up the mountain on the west side of the Lehigh Gap. But the story here, and there's a place called the Lehigh Gap Nature Center, which is down at the bottom of the hill. The story is there was a factory here that for decades and decades was pumping out pollution to the point that half of the mountain, all the vegetation stopped growing. And this became a Superfund site. And they've spent about 30 years or more trying to revegetate the mountain. So we're going to explore what it looks like on top, where the damage and the recovery has taken place, and we're going to see what it looks like. Well, now here you go. Here's something interesting. This is the Hour Bridge trail shelter here on the Appalachian Trail. So if you ever wondered what a AT shelter looks like, this is it. So here you have your shelter. It's nothing fancy. It looks like a log cabin. It'll keep you dry in case of inclement weather. You got your fire pit here for heating food or for warmth. Down that way there was a spring that we just passed, but I would definitely want to treat that water before I drank it based on the history of this mountain and this area. And there may be a privy or an outhouse of some sort down that way. We haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, this is what it looks like to hang out at this is 5-star accommodation on the Appalachian Trail right here. All right, well, that was nice to take a 5-minute break there and catch my breath, get something to drink. But now it's back to the trail, onward and upward to the top. Looking forward to the view. All right, you can see the sign there for the blue trail. So what we did was we climbed to the top of the mountain here, and now we're going to loop back over the ridge back down to where we started on this blue trail. All right, just heading down the blue trail here, and it looks like we may be getting some views after all. I can see a good way into the distance. This is what it looks like right now. Got a little bit of a cold today, so if I sound a little sniffly, that's why. Oh, nice. Well, now this blue trail, this is an impressive trail. The Appalachian Trail coming up wasn't very scenic, but I noticed when I first encountered this trail, it's a loop 2 miles down the trail. It said they called the blue trail the Scenic Trail, but I can see why, because you get all kinds of views and really peaceful up here. Really nice. I'm impressed. Well, I could walk this trail all day. I'm gonna take my time up here. This is beautiful. This has a really unique feel to it. You got these little birch trees, paper birch, and looks like low bush, like blueberry up here. Got your pine here, of course, your grasses. This little blue trail here, this is really awesome. This is definitely worth the price of admission. I realized halfway coming up the AT that I had come up the other side of the gap from the one that I intended, and I was a little frustrated. I even thought about turning back, but then I said, you know what, a hike is a hike, and you're going to see something interesting no matter what. And I'm so glad I stuck it out and I continued on my way here, because this is really cool. I'm really loving this. Okay, so looking down in that direction, that is the north side of the Lehigh Tunnel. So if you've ever come through the Lehigh Tunnel up the northeast extension, that's where you come out as you're heading north towards the Poconos. Well, you know, I don't really know what to say that I haven't already said before, but for a guy like me, this is the way to spend a Sunday morning. This is getting your day off to a good start. Look at that. Somebody made a couple of chairs, a couple of stone chairs here. Sit down and just relax and enjoy this view, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Good stuff. Good stuff. Look at this. This is what it's all about right here. This is it. You know, I read a review online that one guy wrote, and he said that this landscape reminded him of like Arizona or New Mexico. And it's what I can imagine it would look like, with everything so dry and dead, and the occasional pines and the grasses, and the exposed rocks and the views. It looks like how I would picture like a semi-arid landscape. I think this is probably one of the coolest trails I've ever been on in Pennsylvania. It's like Nottingham Serpentine Barrens, but on steroids. It's like on top of a mountain. I don't think I've ever been on a hike where I had such high expectations, then they got lowered so much as I was climbing the Appalachian Trail and thought that I wasn't going to get any views, and then to have my expectations just blown away by what I'm seeing, as I have today. Let's check out another campsite over here. Imagine just sitting here by the fire, looking up at the stars and looking out at the view over that down in the valley down yonder. Yeah, I could. For sure. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I believe if you look down there, where all the land is cleared and bulldozed and empty, I believe that is where the factory once stood that created the pollution that blighted this whole hillside. I'm gonna have to verify that later on. Just tell me the scenery doesn't remind you of something like from a Western movie. I dare you to say it doesn't. The Blue Trail at Lehigh Gap Nature Center. Amazing trail. I mean, I've seen prettier vistas looking out, I'll admit that, but still cool. These grasses here in this section, I believe most definitely were planted in an attempt at revegetation. Well, being I'm stopping and showing you campsites along the way, I had to show you this one because this is this is truly a work of art. This looks like it was crafted by a stonemason. Look at this fire pit. A bench, little table, another bench. I think somebody had a fire here not too long ago. Maybe not last night, but certainly not too long ago. All right, coming down the trail now, and that is looking at Lehigh Gap on the east side. I've passed, by my count, 16 hikers on my way down the mountain and only one on my way up. And that's why I get up at 4:45 in the morning and get out on the road as early as I can to get on the trail. Because the longer you wait, the less you have the mountain to yourself. Well, it's warming up nicely as I sit here on the banks of the Lehigh River. And looking that way is the east side of the gap. That'll be my next destination target. And over this way was the west side, where we were today. And you know, I gotta say, my final thoughts on the Lehigh Gap West Appalachian Trail looping back on the Blue Trail. It was about a 6-mile loop. That Blue Trail was just amazing. The Appalachian Trail itself, not too much to see, but the Blue Route, absolutely beautiful, absolutely worth checking out. It's a nearly continuous view for 2 miles. So, really good stuff. And that's about it. And Gator out. Thanks for coming along on another adventure. See you on the next one. See you on the trail.